No, I think for the first time in history, I brought a new franchise to the NHL, except this franchise is actually going to have NHL players on them, and they're going to have the best players under 30 years old. I'm talking Connor McDavid, Kirill Kaprizov, Leon Draisaitl, David Pastrnak, Austin Matthews, Nathan MacKinnon. We have an absolutely loaded team here, and this team is definitely going to win a Stanley Cup. But how many Stanley Cups can they win over the next 9 years? Well, we're about to find that out. I have the best players under contract for the next 9 seasons. They're all currently on a 1-year deal, and then they have an 8-year extension. That's why we're doing 9 years and not 10. The longest extension players are allowed to be given is 8 seasons. So if I give them 1 season with an 8-year extension, we get 9 seasons. That's what we're going to work with today. So can the Steel City Space Invaders win 9 straight Stanley Cups? Well, in theory, yes they should, because this is clearly the best team we've ever seen. But I also know how NHL 25 works, and you can be a 65-win team and lose to a 37-win Detroit Red Wings team in the first round. So anything can happen in NHL 25. So without further ado, we might as well just simulate season number 1. Of course, we're not going to be stopping at the trade deadline. Why would we do that? This team is perfect in every aspect. But while we have a quick conversation with our coach, if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel. We're still trying to hit 86K by the end of the month. And if you don't subscribe to the channel, we won't be able to do that. So hit the button down below right now. And while you're at it, you might as well drop a like on the video. Now, I'm not going to lie. With basically the best players in the NHL on our team, I was expecting better than a 62, 13, and 7 record. Like, we didn't even break the win record with the best players in the NHL on our team. How does that make sense? Also, if you're wondering why I went with players under 30 years old, it's because if we're going to be doing this for 9 seasons, it doesn't really make sense to have guys like Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin on the team, because within just a few years, they're going to be looking at retiring, and we can't have that. We can't have any of these guys retiring on us. So that's why I went with players under 30 years old. I think that's just going to make it really simple for us. We had ourselves 5-point-a-game scores, and it looks like Jake Onger is going to be the starter over Igor Shesterkin in year number 1. That's definitely a decision. 33 wins, 4 shots, a 904 and a 252. Meanwhile, Shesterkin, 29 wins, 2 shots, a 912 and a 235. Truthfully, I think Shesterkin should be the starter here, but you know what? We're going to ride with Jake Onger. He's been the guy the entire season. We're going to stick with him. We got the Boston Bruins in the first round. It's time to win our first Stanley Cup of many. So in theory, we should probably go about 16-3 in every postseason. Like, we clearly have the best team in the NHL right now. We have the greatest team of all time. I don't expect very many teams to be putting up a fight here. We're going to sweep the Boston Bruins. That's not really a surprise. So we're starting off with a sweep over the Boston Bruins. We're now moving into the second round to take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina's got a pretty solid team. I didn't take any players away from them, and they're going to be stealing game number 1 here. Definitely a surprise. They're going to be stealing game 4 as well. We can't afford to drop game 5. I'm sorry, but we can't lose in the second round of season number 1 here. We can't go out like that. We're going to be stealing game number 5. Now it's time to steal game number 6 and move on to the conference finals, and luckily we're going to be doing that. I guess I didn't mention, all the players that we have on our team are no longer on their current NHL teams. So we have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. That means Edmonton doesn't have Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl. So there are definitely some teams in the NHL right now that aren't going to be competitive whatsoever. However, that's perfectly fine with us, because that's going to give us a better chance to win. There is no way Montreal is really putting pressure on us right now. Do not drop game number 5 here. We're going to win game number 5, but we have to win game 6 as well. We can't drop game number 6. If we go to game 7, okay, there's no way this just happened. I don't even care about us taking down Montreal. We have St. Louis in the Stanley Cup final. How on earth did that happen? Like, we know what NHL 25 thinks of the St. Louis Blues. This game hates the Blues, but yet they just made it to the Stanley Cup final. I don't understand how that just happened. Are we going to take them down to sweep? Yes, we are. The Steel City Space Invaders are going to be winning a Stanley Cup in year number 1, sweeping the St. Louis Blues in the Stanley Cup final. But there was a handful of teams that put some pressure on us, so I don't think we're going to be winning 9 in a row here. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I never expected us to win 9 Stanley Cups in a row, but with the amount of amazing talent on this team, we probably should win 9 Stanley Cups in a row. Austin Matthews, 26 points, Kirill Kaprizov, 25, Leon Draisaitl, 25, Connor McDavid, 22. They're going to be our point-of-game scorers here. And then when it comes to the Otters numbers, 16 wins, 3 shots, a 918, a 229. He was absolutely locked in through the entirety of the postseason, and he's going to help us get Stanley Cup number 1. Now, since we have our team for the next 8 seasons, there's no point stopping at the draft here. There's no point stopping in free agency. We're just going to keep on running it back with the same team over and over. Now, year number 1 was definitely a success. I don't think anyone's really surprised that we're winning a Stanley Cup. Just look at this team from top to bottom. We're absolutely perfect here. But can we win 9 Stanley Cups in a row? I highly doubt it. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if we only win like 5 Stanley Cups in this video. Like, even though we have the best players in the NHL on our team, something stupid's going to happen, and eventually we're going to lose in the first round to a wildcard team, and then we're going to go on a 2 or 3 year stretch where we can't even make the Stanley Cup final. I have rebuilt enough teams in NHL 25. I know how things work here. Failure is inevitable for this team. Now, I have a bad feeling about this season. Like, we won 71 games here, a 71-9-2 record. It's going to come crashing down, isn't it? This incredible season right here is going to immediately come crashing down, and we're going to lose to a team like the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round. I can see it all happening. Matthews, Draisaitl, Kaprizov, Connor McDavid, Quinn Hughes, you're all of our point of game scorers here. And then when it comes to goaltending, Shesterkin's taken over. 52 wins, 3 shouts, a 908 and a 240. But look at Jake Ottinger's numbers. I feel like he's earned the net. Like a 930 and a 184, 3 shutouts with 19 wins. Bro was basically perfect this season. But you know what? We're going to ride with the guy that led us to 71 wins. We're taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round. Don't collapse here. I don't think I could handle us collapsing in season number 2. Like, in reality, I expect perfection from a perfect team. Like, there is nothing wrong. We have an amazing offense, we have amazing defense, we have amazing goaltending. So I expect perfection from the perfect team. We won game number 1 in overtime, which is a bit concerning considering this is a wild card team. We are taking them down to sweep, but Pittsburgh shouldn't have been able to force us to overtime in game 1. But you know what? We're not going to worry about it. We're taking them down. We're moving on to the second round. We're going to see the Philadelphia Flyers. Philly's going to be stealing game 1. As long as they don't steal back-to-back games, I think we'll be okay here. And after dropping game number 1, we're going to be winning 3 straight. We're going to make it 4 straight, then we'll move on to the conference finals. All we need is 8 more victories to be back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. But we could potentially be running into our toughest team, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, the reason Tampa's likely going to be the toughest team is they didn't lose any players. Victor Hedman's still on the team, Nikita Kucherov's still on the team, Braden Point's still on the team, Jake Getzel's still on the team, Vasilevsky's still on the team. So this is basically just the current Tampa Bay Lightning. I feel like they're going to put up a fight against us. We're going to be losing game number 1. That's certainly not ideal. Luckily, we're going to be winning game number 2, but we're dropping game 3. We split the series with Tampa. Do not drop game number 5. We can definitely compete with Tampa, but they can compete with us. Game 6 is going to decide this series. If we win this one, we're in the Stanley Cup final. If we lose this one, I think we're going to drop back-to-back games and lose game 7, but we don't have to worry about that. We're going to be closing out in game number 6, and we're moving on to the Stanley Cup final to take on the LA Kings. Now, LA is another team that didn't lose any players, but they don't have Kucherov, they don't have Braden Point, they don't have Vasilevsky. They're just not the same team as Tampa, so I don't think we're going to struggle too much with the LA Kings. We're going to be taking them down a pretty quick series. It's going to be a 5-game series, and just like that, we're back-to-back Stanley Cup champions once we win game number 6 here. Are we blowing a 3-1 series lead? I'm sorry, we're not blowing a 3-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup final. Our offense is not collapsing like that. We have to win this game. Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are picking up goals in the first period. Quentin Byfield's picking up one in the second. This game is way too close. I need y'all to win the third period here, and technically we won the third period by doing absolutely nothing. We're winning game 7 2-1, but we really almost blew a 3-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup final to the LA Kings. That almost happened. Now, I think that was a perfect example of what I mean when I say anything can happen. We can look incredible during the regular season, win 70 plus games, but it might still come down to game 7 of the Stanley Cup final, and that's what happened here. Austin Matthews 23 points in 22 games, Quinn Hughes 23 points as well, Jack Hughes 22 points. So the two Hughes brothers are both going to be a point a game here. And then when it comes to our goaltending, Shesterkin 16 wins, 2 shots, a 928 and a 217. Your numbers were incredible, but we still went to game 7, and that concerns me a little bit. Like, with the amount of elite talent here, we shouldn't be blowing 3-1 series leads, and we certainly shouldn't be going to game 7 this early. Now, although things looked absolutely incredible throughout the entire regular season, once we got to the postseason, there was some adversity we had to face. Like, we almost blew a 3-1 series lead with this team right here. If we blew a 3-1 series lead with this team right here, I would never let any of these players live it down. Like, how on earth would that be possible? Like, from top to bottom, it's just straight greatness, but yet they almost lost in game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. I guess that just shows you anything can happen here. Now, right now, the Space Invaders are on a 15-game heater. We've won 15 in a row. Things are looking great. Unfortunately, we didn't finish with 70 wins this season. We finished with 69. Leon Draisaitl is going to lead the way with 108 points, followed by David Pastrnak, Kirill Kaprizov, Connor McDavid, Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes, Cale Makar. These are all the point-a-game players on our team. We really had 6 guys averaging over a point a game. Things are a little bit out of control here. It looks like Jake Ottinger's taking over as a starter. I guess these guys are just going to keep swapping each season. Like, one season is going to be Jake, the next season is going to be Igor, but it doesn't really matter. As long as our starting goaltender performs, we'll continue to win Stanley Cups here, and then we'll still have a chance at a 9-peat. We're taking on the Carolina Hurricanes in the first round. I'm a little bit scared of Carolina. I feel like they're just a really well-built team, and they can always compete no matter what. Like, unless something's completely changed with the Carolina Hurricanes and they've traded half their team away, or a bunch of people retired significantly earlier than they should have been, Carolina's going to be a good team here, and they're definitely going to put some pressure on us. We've won the first 2 games though. Can we make that the first 3? Yes, we can. A sweep over the Hurricanes would be amazing, but we're going to drop game number 4. Why am I not surprised we're dropping game number 4? Now just don't drop back-to-back games and we'll be in a good spot. We're taking down Carolina and we're moving on to the second round. Like, in reality, you can never be too confident here. The New York Islanders are going to be the next team up. We're not losing to the Islanders. I'm sorry, but that's just not going to happen. We're going to take them down to a sweep, and then we'll move on to the conference finals, and then likely take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like, the Islanders really didn't put up that much of a fight. They could barely find the back of the net. We have Florida instead. Now, Florida might not have Matthew Tkachuk, and they might not have Barkov, but they still have a lot of good players on that team. They're going to be able to compete with us, so this is going to be a great matchup. We're dropping game 1, but responding in game 2. We're going to win game 3 as well, but then we're dropping game number 4. All of these games except for 1 have gone to overtime, so I'm expecting to see overtime in one of these next matchups. Game number 5 is a big one. We can't afford to drop that one. We're going to be winning that one 4-2. Close it out in game number 6, and we can move on to the Stanley Cup final to take on the Dallas Stars. I have no clue who their starting goaltender is. Like, we have to remember, I took Jake Ottinger off the team, so they don't have him as the starter anymore. I have no clue who the Dallas Stars starting goaltender is, but it doesn't matter. We'll just take him down to sweep here and win back to back to back. But I think I gotta chill here. Like, we just dropped the first 2 games. We split the series with Dallas. Are we going to win 3 in a row? We're facing elimination. There is no way we're going to lose to the Dallas Stars, and they don't even have the Otter. Like, I don't know who the Dallas Stars have as their starting goaltender. I guess we're going to find out right here. The Space Invaders are taking on the Dallas Stars. Dallas is picking up 2 goals in the first period. They got Jacob Markstrom as their starter. All right, you got a respectable goaltender. You know what? Jacob Markstrom's definitely going to hold it down, but he's not going to be able to stop our offense. We're still trailing entering the 3rd period. Are we going to lose to the Dallas Stars in year number 3? It looks like it. Harvey Pinard's picking up a 3rd period goal. David Pastrnak would be responding, but we're not going to score enough goals. We're going to lose this game 5-4, and we just lost the Stanley Cup in year number 3. I had dreams of a 9-peat with our super team right here, but instead we're going to drop game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals to the Dallas Stars, a team who lost Jake Ottinger, and they also lost Miro Heiskanen. This team was without the Otter and Miro Heiskanen, and they found a way to beat our super team. Ain't no way. Like, if we were going to lose to any team here, I was fully expecting the Tampa Bay Lightning or even the Montreal Canadiens, because the Montreal Canadiens in 5 years could be a really good team. The Tampa Bay Lightning didn't lose any of their players, so they still have all their superstars, but that doesn't matter. We're going to lose to the Dallas Stars, who don't have Miro Heiskanen and they don't have Jake Ottinger. That really happened. We didn't have a single point per game score. I don't know what this team was doing. The Otter, a 9-12 and a 249. It wasn't good enough. These numbers clearly weren't good enough for us to win a Stanley Cup, and we're going to be falling in season number 3. That really just happened. We really lost in season number 3. I'm not going to lie, that's crazy work. Like, losing to the Dallas Stars of all teams without the Otter and without Miro Heiskanen, no, we went down bad. Now, I guess the question of how many straight Stanley Cups could the best players in the NHL win? The answer is 2. We won 2 Stanley Cups, and then we lost to the Jake Ottinger list Dallas Stars, as well as the Miro Heiskanen list Dallas Stars. That team really stopped this forward core right here. They were able to get past this amazing defensive core right here, as well as these 2 goaltenders. I guess after losing in the Stanley Cup final, we made the decision that Igor Shesterkin is now going to be the starter. He's up to a 92 overall. The Otters dropped to a 91. We have to change things up here, and I think Shesterkin as the starter is a pretty good change up. Now, as we've learned in the past, the regular season record doesn't mean too much here. A 67-10-5 record. Our defense actually wasn't significantly better than the second best team in the entire league. Like, the second best defensive team is going to be the Dallas Stars, and they only allowed 11 more goals than we did. So yeah, Dallas is certainly competing. Florida wasn't too far off. There's a lot of great defensive teams out here. Leon Draisaitl, 110 points. He's going to lead the way for us. Connor McDavid, 108 points. Austin Matthews, 92. Quinn Hughes, 91. Jack Hughes, 90. And then David Pastrnak, he's going to be picking up 85. When it comes to our goaltending numbers, Igor Shesterkin, you're back as the starter. But hold on, why did Jake Ottinger post an 899? How is your save percentage not above 500? Nah, bro, I'm sorry, but you're the backup for the rest of this video. Igor Shesterkin is clearly the starter. I don't know what to say about that one. We're taking on the Islanders in the first round. We can't feel too confident moving into the postseason. We know what can happen here. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. I am terrified to meet the Dallas Stars in the Stanley Cup final. Now that we know how good defensively they are, I think they could take us down. Like, we can score goals, don't get me wrong, but if we can't keep the puck out of our net, we could be in a little bit of trouble. Then again, I'm kind of just yapping though, because we did have the best defense and the best offense. I guess if our offense slows up by any means, we could be in a lot of trouble, because the defense is going to be elite no matter what. But if the offense takes a slight step back, then we're going to be in trouble. But none of that really matters here. We're moving on to the second round to take on the New York Rangers. We're going to steal game number 1. I don't think the Rangers should really be able to compete with us. They don't have Igor Shesterkin anymore, so we're going to take them down a sweep. That's not really much of a surprise. Like, without Igor Shesterkin, I don't think the Rangers are really going to be that team. Tampa, on the other hand, yeah, they're going to be a tough fight here. So it's the Space Invaders taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa's certainly going to put up a fight, but maybe not, because this team is just absolutely rolling right now. We're 12-0 heading into the Stanley Cup final. We might go 16-0 here. We have a chance to go 16-0. All we have to do is beat the San Jose Sharks. But at the beginning of this video, San Jose was a young team. A lot of the guys have developed, so I think they're going to put up a pretty solid fight against us. We're winning game number 1 as well as game 2 and game 3 and game 4. Yeah, we went 16-0. So we clearly learned one thing from this postseason run. Igor Shesterkin is the number 1. No matter what happens, Igor's our guy. Like, this man went on a historic run. We went 16-0. Leon Draisaitl 25 points, McDavid 24, Kirill Kaprizov 23, Cale Makar 19 points, David Pastrnak 18 points, Quinn Hughes 17 points. That's a lot of point-a-game scores, but look at these numbers from Igor. 16 wins, 1 shutout. He had a 900 save percentage and a 263. Wow, these are nowhere near as good as I thought they were. Like, you went 16-0. I was assuming you were going to have really good numbers. Nope, a 900 save percentage and a 263. This is very underwhelming. But you know what? We'll still take it here. We're back in the win column. We're taking home another Stanley Cup, but our job's not finished because we have to three-peat at least once in this video. So we've won Stanley Cup number 1. That's going to be the toughest. We have to win next season and then the year after that to three-peat. Last season we tried to go for a three-peat. That didn't really go our way. Now, on top of us looking to repeat this season, this might be the most interesting season because Nathan MacKinnon's dropped down to the 3rd line because he's a 94 overall. Jack Hughes is up to a 96 overall. If I'm being completely honest, I have no clue how he did that considering he's been playing bottom 6 minutes the entire video up until this point. But you know what? He's earned himself a spot on the 2nd line here, playing alongside Austin Matthews and David Pastrnak, who are also 96 overalls. But in saying that, maybe Pastrnak plays on the 1st line considering he's a 96 overall. And then we have Kirill Kaprizov playing on the right wing. Jack Hughes plays on the left wing here. It's a secondary position. I think this makes a lot more sense for our team. The defense is going to be looking the exact same. I mean, truthfully, outside of the first pairing, I think the 2nd and 3rd pairing have been changing every season, but that's beside the point. Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, you're the top 2 guys here, and you're going to continue to be those top 2 guys, but Jake Onger is now up to a 92 overall, Igor Shesterkin's a 91. I will never understand the progression in this game. Like, bro just went 16-0 and led us to a Stanley Cup. He drops 1 overall. Jake Onger, who is the backup, who posted an 899, he goes up 1 overall. Why are they swapping overalls? I have no clue, but I guess that's just how it works in this game. No, but seriously, like, I need somebody to explain that to me. How does this man win a Stanley Cup going 16-0 and he drops 1 overall? Meanwhile, the backup goes up 1 overall after having a terrible regular season. Like, what about that makes any sense? Now, we've seen this once before with the Space Invaders and Jake Onger. He leads us to an incredible season, a 71-8-3 record. Things are looking absolutely fantastic heading into the postseason, but then it collapses when you blow a 3-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup final. McDavid, Draisaitl, Matthews, Hughes, Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, David Pastrnak, all of these guys are going to be point-a-game scorers this season. We had 7 point-per-game players. Yeah, the offense certainly isn't a problem here. Jake Onger, your regular season numbers aren't a problem either. However, how are you going to play in the postseason when the lights are the brightest and I need you to step up for me? Are you going to be able to do that? Hopefully you can. Like, I need season number 1 Jake Onger back. In season 1, he won us the Stanley Cup. In season 3, we blew a 3-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup final, and I still haven't gotten over that. But now we're in season 5. Can the Otter lead us to another Stanley Cup here? Well, we're taking down the Rangers in a sweep, so we're off to a great start. So we're moving on to the second round to face a team that we haven't seen at all in this video, the Carolina Hurricanes. Nope, I don't believe we've taken on the Carolina Hurricanes once in this video. That definitely hasn't happened. We're going to be taking them down a sweep, absolutely dominating. We're moving on to the conference finals. And in the conference finals, I'm expecting either Tampa Bay or the Florida Panthers, and it looks like we're going to be matched up against the Florida Panthers. As I mentioned earlier, they don't have Barkov anymore. They don't have Matthew Tkachuk anymore, so they're not nearly as good of a team. However, they're still going to put some pressure on us, but we have a 3-1 series series lead, but that doesn't mean anything because we've blown a 3-1 series lead before, but we're not going to be doing that here. We're moving on to the Stanley Cup final, and we have the LA Kings, the absolute ops once again. LA's put some pressure on us in this video, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop us here. I shouldn't say that though. Like, we can have a 3-1 series lead and then still lose. So no matter what happens here, we just have to take it one game at a time, and that's exactly what we're doing. However, we have a 3-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup final. I'm incredibly concerned. Win game number 5 here. We have to close it out, and that's what we're going to do. We're closing it out in 5 games in the Stanley Cup final. Jake Onger is going to be picking up another one, but can we get the elusive three-peat? Well, that's what we're going for next season. Can we win 3 Stanley Cups in a row? We probably should have won 5 Stanley Cups in a row at this point, but we're just going to forget about what happened in season number 3. The Space Invaders continue to prove they're the best team in the entire league, and that really shouldn't surprise anyone considering they're built from the best players in the entire league. Connor McDavid, David Pastrnak, Leon Draisaitl, Jack Eichel, Jack Hughes, Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes. Like, we just have elite talent on elite talent here. And then the Otter, a 16-2 record, 5 shots, a 935 and a 172. Yeah, you're the starter next season. Ideally, you're the starter for us next season, but we all know what's going to happen. You're somehow going to drop 1 overall. Igor Shesterkin's going to go up 1 overall, and he's going to be our starter. Still haven't figured out how that works, but you know what? We vibe. So we've won back-to-back Stanley Cups. We're looking for the three-peat this season, but there is a couple things I should point out. Nathan MacKinnon and Barkov, both you guys are 34. You're starting to regress a little bit. Like, Barkov's down to a 90 overall, Nathan MacKinnon 91. So over the next couple of years, our bottom 6 is definitely going to be getting a little bit worse, just because age is finally going to start catching up to some of these players. However, when it comes to goaltending, that's still looking pretty solid. Surprisingly, Jake Onger actually didn't drop an overall. I am very surprised at that. So we got ourselves 2 92 overalls this season. We're definitely giving ourselves a good chance to three-peat. Now, we all know what's on the line this season. We're going for the three-peat. A 76-6 record. The Space Invaders are the best team in the entire league. 5.4 goals per game, 2.1 allowed. This is the best defensive season we've had yet. Everything is lining up for us to three-peat, and everything is also lining up for us to lose in the first round. Anything can happen here. We had a lot of point per game players on this team. Everyone was showing up for us, and when it comes to goaltending, Igor Shesterkin looks to be the guy here. 40 wins, 3 shots, a 911 and a 232. But look at the Otters numbers. It's hard to turn away from Jake here, but Igor Shesterkin was clearly the guy throughout the entire season, so that's who we're going to rock with here. Is that the wrong decision? Like, flipping goalies every season doesn't seem like the right thing to do here. It started with the Otter, then Igor in year 2. In year 3, we went back to Jake. In year 4, we went to Shesterkin. In year 5, we went back to Jake. And then, of course, in year 6, what are we going to do? We're going to go back to Igor Shesterkin. The flip-flopping between goaltenders doesn't really seem sustainable here. But you know what? I guess I shouldn't question whether it's sustainable or not because it's been working for us so far. We're going for the three-peat this season. We know what we have to do. We need great offense and we need great defense. Truthfully, I think we just need okay offense here because our defense is already amazing enough. Like, we only need to score 3 goals per game because we're only going to be allowing 1. We're moving on to the second round. We have the Washington Capitals up next. I don't think the Capitals are going to be able to stop us. Like, this team is rolling right now. The defense has been impeccable so far up until game number 4. Then it's going to be collapsing. We're going to be allowing 4 goals. That's not going to happen again here. We're winning this one 6-3. Now, moving into the conference finals, we're going to have our toughest task, the Tampa Bay Lightning. We know what the Tampa Bay Lightning are about. We know who's on their team. This could be a very tough matchup for us, but we're going to win game number 1. We're dropping game 3. That's perfectly fine. We have a 3-1 series lead, and we have never blown a 3-1 series lead before. That has never happened. Nope, we've just seen success on success in this video, and now we get to match up against the Chicago Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup final. They should be a fairly good team. We didn't remove anyone from the Blackhawks. They have an incredibly good young team here. Connor Bedard's going to be leading the way. They got Levshunov. They got Kevin Korchinski. They have all the right pieces here. But let's see if those pieces can show up when it matters most. And the answer is no. We have a 3-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup final. We have never choked one of these leads away. We're closing it out in game number 5. And the Space Invaders are going to be Stanley Cup champs once again. We're finally completing the three-peat, but the job's not finished. Now it's time to go get the four-peat. I'm going to be completely honest here. I understand I have the best players in the entire league on my team. And realistically, we should win every season. But I'm surprised we've actually seen as much success as we had so far in this video. Like, I was fully expecting at this point, we could either have 5 Stanley Cups or we could have 1 Stanley Cup and no in between. Like, if you told me at the beginning of this video, we would only have 1 Stanley Cup at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. And if you said that we had 5 Stanley Cups at this point, I also wouldn't be surprised. But wait a minute, Jake Onger was the start for the postseason. I wasn't expecting that. But you know what? He kind of earned it. He had the amazing numbers in the regular season. Like, he had a 31-2 record, 7 shots, a 932 and a 178. I got to give it to our coach here. He could have went with Igor Shesterkin, and he was our guy for the entire regular season. But we saw what the Otter did during the regular season, and we turned to him when it mattered most, and honestly, that was the right decision. 16 wins, 3 shots, a 913 and 227. The Otters Kreider's going back to back, but now it's time for him to get his three-peat next season while the team four-peats. Also, moving forward, I think we have to start being a lot more careful here. Like, we have a handful of guys on the team that are 35 years old now, some of them even turning 36. We got to make sure they don't retire on us. So we've completed the three-peat with the team, but Jake Ottinger himself has not completed the three-peat. He's only won back-to-back Stanley Cups, and he's looking to win his third straight this season. The real question is he going to be the starter here? Because who knows? Half the time it's Jake Ottinger, half the time it's Igor Shesterkin. Both these guys have shown up for us, but I think it's Jake Ottinger's net until further notice. And before Igor Shesterkin is the starter this season, he plays 50-plus games, and then Jake Ottinger jumps in the postseason and goes 16-0, because that could very well happen. Or we could also lose in the first round. That could happen as well. Now, the Steel City Space Invaders continue to be the best team in the entire league, a 71-7-4 record. We already know we're about here. We're going to be the best team in the entire league. We're going to win the President's Trophy. We're going to absolutely dominate offensively, and I think this is the most point-a-game scores we've ever had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 point-a-game scores here. Wow, the menu is incredibly laggy. When it comes to goaltending here, who was the starter? Was it Igor Shesterkin or was it Jake Ottinger? Jake Ottinger won 35 games. Igor Shesterkin won 36. Shesterkin played in 42 games. The Otter played in 41. I don't know who we go with here. Whoever the CPU decides, that's who we're going to go with. I don't think there's a wrong option here. We're taking on the New York Islanders. Let's pick up that four-peat. Like, the stats between Igor Shesterkin and Jake Ottinger were basically identical, so I don't think there's a wrong decision here. We're winning game number 1 2-1, and that concerns me a little bit, up until we won game number 2 9-0. Now I am no longer concerned. I thought our offense had taken a massive step back or something. It doesn't look like it, because we're going to score 9 goals in the next game, and then 7 goals the game after that. The offense is flying now. Now we're moving on to the second round. I think we already know how this is going to go. It's going to be a sweep for the Space Invaders. We've already made it to the conference finals, and we haven't lost a game yet. But what if I told you in the conference finals we would have to match up against the Tampa Bay Lightning? As we know, Tampa Bay's got an amazing team. I've only mentioned that about 18 billion times in this video, but I guess they're not good enough here because we're 12-0 and we're in the Stanley Cup final. One team in front of us, and that's going to be the Winnipeg Jets. Now, one thing about the Winnipeg Jets, they might have Connor Hellebuyck, but they don't have Kyle Connor. 15-0 so far in the postseason. We're jumping into game number 4. With a chance to go 16-0, I want to watch this game right here. Can the Space Invaders do it? Well, we're going to be allowing the first 2 goals of the game before David Pastrnak responds. In the second period, they're going to be picking up another goal. Are we really going to drop game 4 and not go 16-0? That would be an absolute heartbreaker. That did not just happen. Also, Joey Decor's a starting goaltender. Don't know where Connor Hellebuyck is, but that's beside the point. Now, like, seriously, where did Connor Hellebuyck go? He should still be under contract. He's still on the Winnipeg Jets. I don't know what happened, but yeah, we're going to take Winnipeg down in game number 5 here. But why couldn't we just go 16-0? Why did we have to go to game number 5? Like, we could have just kept things simple. 16-0 in the postseason, absolutely dominating. David Pastrnak 24, Jack Hughes 23. Just look at all the point of game scores here. This team has goal scoring depth. Adam Fox, you didn't score a single goal in the postseason, but that's perfectly fine because you had 18 assists. You're an assist man, what can I say? And then Igor Shesterkin, you're going to prevent Jake Ottinger from completing the three-peat himself. You're going to be picking up one yourself here. 16 wins, 2 shots, a 909 to 229. The four-peat has been complete, but now we're going for the five-peat. If we can keep on winning Stanley Cups here, I wouldn't mind winning 8 Stanley Cups over a 9-year period. I will never forget year 3 though. Now, luckily, age hasn't really caught up to our team too much. Like, Connor McDavid's 34 years old and he's a 95 overall. Kirill Kaprizov's 34 years old and he's a 95 overall. And then Leon Draisaitl, he's 35 years old but still a 95 overall. No one's really regressed so far in this video. But in saying that, Barkov has dropped to an 87 overall and Nathan McKinnon has dropped to a 90 overall. But both of them are 36 here, so that really shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Like, our entire team is late 30s, but none of them have seen a crazy fall off quite yet. But you know what? That's a great sign because we're looking to win a couple more Stanley Cups. We have 2 seasons to go, so that means 2 more Stanley Cups, and that means we're completing a 6-peat. Then again, Igor Shesterkin has dropped 1 overall, and the Otters dropped 2 overalls, so maybe I shouldn't be as confident as I am. Now, I can confidently say this was the stupidest season we've seen yet. So we finished with a 75-5-2 record. We lost 7 games all season. But here's the interesting thing. We lost to the Philadelphia Flyers. We proceeded to win 25 straight games, and then in the final game of the season, we lost again. And who'd we lose to? The Philadelphia Flyers. So out of the 7 games we lost this season, 2 of them came to the Philadelphia Flyers, and both of them were in regulation. If we have to take on the Philadelphia Flyers in the postseason, I fully expect we're going to lose. Igor Shesterkin looked absolutely incredible this season. I mean, both goaltenders looked incredible. But yeah, as long as we don't face Philly in the postseason, we'll be okay here. We could potentially take them on the second round. I think we're looking at a second round round exit here. Also, if you thought I was kidding, I wasn't. We lost to the Philadelphia Flyers 3-1 here. We then proceeded to win 25 straight games, only to lose to the Philadelphia Flyers here. How does that work? I have no clue, but we probably should sweep the first round. We're not losing multiple games. We've lost back-to-back games now. What is this team doing? We have the best players in the NHL on our team, and you're telling me we're going to be dropping back-to-back games? That just shouldn't be possible. We're closing it out 10-2 in game number 5, but we shouldn't even gone to game 5. Now we have the Ops in the second round. We're taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm absolutely terrified here. I honestly expect us to lose. I'm expecting we're going to lose to the Philadelphia Flyers here, but maybe not. We might just take them down in a sweep instead. All right, there's no one that's going to stop us now. If we're getting past the Philadelphia Flyers, there's no team that can stop us. They were the only team I was slightly concerned about, but now that we've got past them, we're going to sweep the rest of the postseason here. We're going to win another Stanley Cup, except we're going to drop game number 4. As long as we don't drop game number 5, I think we'll be okay, and we're not going to be doing that. We've moved on to the Stanley Cup final, and it looks like we're going to have the Chicago Blackhawks yet again. We've already beat this team once in the Stanley Cup final, maybe even twice, but I know for a fact we're going to beat them again here. The best players in the NHL are going to close it out. If we didn't lose game number 1, we would have won 16-0 in the postseason. We just had to lose game number 1 in overtime. Like, we really lost 7 games all season, but we dropped the final game of the season, and then we dropped the first game of the postseason. Wait, we went 18-2? Who else did we lose to? I thought we swept the final 3 teams. Am I tripping? I might be tripping here. We lost 2 games in overtime. Who else did we lose to? Why did I just completely overlook one of our overtime losses? Oh yeah, we lost in overtime to the Florida Panthers. Why did I just completely overlook this game? We went 16-2, not 16-1. But that's another Stanley Cup for the Space Invaders. One more season to go, and that's going to mean one more Stanley Cup. Now we're entering season number 9, and we've won 7 Stanley Cups in the past 8 seasons, so we've seen a lot of success. Nathan McKinnon's dropped to an 81 overall. He has had the craziest fall off imaginable. Like, he fell off really fast. Like, Barkov's still an 85 overall. He still has his superstar X factors. He has all of that. Nathan McKinnon has none of that. He has completely fallen off a cliff. He is not the guy he used to be. When it comes to our goaltenders, we still have Jake Onger as a 92 overall. We still have Igor Shesterkin as a 91. So I do believe we should be able to win one more Stanley Cup here. But I feel like it also would make sense in our final season for us to lose in the first round. That would be the perfect way to cap this video off. No, age has caught up to some of our players, but we're still the best team in the entire league. First with a 79-3 record. So once again, we're going to be winning 70 games this season. We're still scoring over 5 goals per game. Austin Matthews is going to lead the way. He's picking up 111 points, including 64 goals. Jack Hughes 109 points. Quinn Hughes 107. Leon Draisaitl 96. Connor McDavid 92. Cale Makar 83. And then Kirill Kaprizov's going to be our final point a game player here. He's picking up 82 points in 82 games. When it comes to goaltending, I guess Jake Onger was the start of this season. 49 wins, 9 shots, a 916 to 232. Can the Otter win us one last Stanley Cup? Can we win one more Stanley Cup here so we can finish with 6 straight Stanley Cup victories? We're about to find out. We're taking on the New York Rangers, and the Rangers might be a bit more difficult than I thought they would be because Dustin Wolf's their starting goaltender. They might have lost Igor Shesterkin, but now they have Dustin Wolf, so they're certainly going to be tough. How on earth is Dustin Wolf on the New York Rangers? Well, that's a question for another day because I have no clue how Calgary didn't keep him, but that's beside the point here. We're winning game number 1, but dropping game number 2 in regulation. We're not going to drop back-to-back games. We're going to win game 3, and then we're going to win game 4. Jake Onger's already picked up 2 shows, but can he make it 3 in game number 5 here? No, we can't, but we're still going to be advancing. So we're moving on to the second round to take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is the post-Sidney Crosby era, so I don't think Pittsburgh's really going to be that difficult for us. Can we take them down to sweep here? Yes, we can. Now I'm going to be completely honest. I know I put the best players in the NHL on my team, but I am still amazed that we saw as much success as we did. Like, if we can win our 6th straight Stanley Cup right here, that means we won 8 Stanley Cups in 9 years. Honestly, I thought that was going to be impossible for this team right here. Like, yes, we have the best players, but I have seen some ridiculous things happen in NHL 25. I have seen borderline 70-win teams lose in the first round. But you know what? That's not going to happen here. We've made it to the Stanley Cup final yet again. We're taking on the Chicago Blackhawks once again, and like always, we're going to take down this Blackhawks team. I'm not scared of them whatsoever. It's going to be a quick sweep, and then we're going to be Stanley Cup champions yet again here. That's what we're about. The Steel City Space Invaders have once again won a Stanley Cup. It was another incredible run, 16-2 once again. This team's truly just built different. So 8 Stanley Cups over the last 9 years is definitely a successful run here, and it's way more successful than I thought it would be. I know I've mentioned this a million times, but this is way more success than I thought we would, because I did a video very similar to this a couple years ago. I believe we lost in year number 3, so that was the exact same as this video right here, but they didn't see nearly as much success. Like, I don't think they ever had a 70-win season. This team was averaging 70 wins per year. here. We had ourselves 3-point per game scores: Matthew Tkachuk, Kirill Kaprizov, Connor McDavid, who's 36 years old. Then when it comes to goaltending, Jake Ottinger is going to pick up one last cup here. 16 wins, 3 shots, a 930 and a 189. With the greatest team in NHL history, it's no surprise that we were able to see as much success as we had. But if we were to use the greatest players of all time, I'm talking Wayne Gretzky, I'm talking Mario Lemieux, Gordie Howe, Patrick Waugh. Would this team be able to win 9 Stanley Cups in 9 seasons? Maybe we'll find out one of these days.